Use this workout structure if you want to lose fat, build muscle, and increase your testosterone. These are the exact workout templates I've used to help hundreds of dads achieve results over the last 12 years. My guarantee to you is that by the end of this video, you'll have 3 bulletproof workout templates that work whether you have a full home gym or just a set of dumbbells. Plus, I'll show you how to scale each template based on your fitness level and time constraints. And the best part, I designed a 4-week sample plan of exactly what that would look like, and you can download that after this video in the description below. And it's totally free. So if that sounds good, let's get into it. Template A. This is your upper body focus day. This will hit your chest, back, shoulders, and arms in about 25 minutes. So here's the exact structure. It's a 5-minute dynamic warm-up with 4 main exercises, 3 sets of each of those, and then a 5-minute cool down stretching period. Our first exercise is going to be a pushing movement, and this is going to vary depending on your equipment. If you have dumbbells, I want you to do a dumbbell chest press or overhead press. For a barbell, you could do bench press or strict press. And if you're working with minimal equipment, push-ups, standard incline or decline variations are all fantastic options. For your second exercise, I want you to do a pulling movement. If you're using dumbbells, you can choose between a single arm row or bent over rows. A barbell, you can use barbell bent over row or an inverted row. And then if you're dealing with minimal equipment, pull-ups or resistance band rows are a great option. And you can feel free to pause the video and write each of these down if you want. Or like I said, you can go to the description down below and just download the link where I did all that for you. All right, exercise number 3 for our upper body framework is going to be shoulder focused. So we're going to really light those delts up. If you're using dumbbells, I want you to go with lateral raises or Arnold press. For a barbell, good old fashioned upright rows. And then if you're working with minimal equipment, a pike push-up or a banded front raise is going to be a great option to focus on those shoulders. Exercise 4 is going to be hitting those arms. You know, we got to get them curls for the girls. So for dumbbells, we got bicep curls, superset with tricep extensions. For barbell, you have barbell curls, superset with close grip push-ups. And then for minimal equipment option, you have resistance band curls. Now, one of the things that's really important that I've talked about before on this channel is progressive overload, meaning you can't just stick with the same weight, the same amount of reps, the same amount of sets, and expect to continue to increase your progress. So how you fight that is with a structure of slightly increased reps or slightly increased weight over the course of a few weeks. Here's how I suggest to do that. For the first 2 weeks, hit 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps for each of these exercises. Weeks 3 and 4, we're going to still do 3 sets, but we're actually going to bring the reps down to 8 to 10 and increase the weight slightly. Week 5 and 6, 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps now, and you want to stick with close to, if not the same weight that you were doing with the 8 to 10, so that you can continue to increase there. And then week 7 is a deload. We need to give our body a little extra time to recover. So we're only going to do 2 sets there of 8 to 10 reps with a lighter weight than you were the previous week. And an easy structured rest plan for this is going to be 60 to 90 seconds rest between each set and then 2 minutes between each exercise. And that'll make sure that you finish within 25 to 30 minutes. The key here is to start with compound movements, the ones that work multiple muscle groups at one time. Then you can finish with the isolation exercises. Because let's be honest, every guy wants bigger arms, right? In best case scenario, they don't even fit in your shirt anymore. Then you got to go up a size, and then you get to complain about how your arms are too big and then it looks too wide on you. You know what? Never mind. I'm getting carried away here. Let's move on to template B. Template B is our lower body focus day. Now, this is arguably the most important day because you're using your biggest muscles and moving the most amount of weight, which means greatest caloric burn. The framework here is the same as template A, about 25 to 30 minutes. It breaks down the same way. So here's your 4 exercises. Number 1, we're doing squats, baby. If you got dumbbells, we're going to start off with some goblet squats. Or the other option will be dumbbell front squats. For a barbell, you're doing regular old back squats or front squats. And then if you're working with minimal equipment, bodyweight squats or jump squats are very effective. Exercise 2 is going to be a hinge movement. If you're rocking those dumbbells, we're going to go Romanian deadlifts or single leg deadlift. Barbell, conventional or Romanian deadlifts again. And then for minimal equipment, single leg glute bridges or good mornings are going to be a fantastic way to target that posterior chain. Exercise 3 is going to be focusing on a single leg movement. Now let me take a quick pause and explain why this is important. The reason we don't just do things on 2 legs all the time is because when you're walking, when you're running especially, or you're doing any kind of sport, anything where you're being active and moving dynamically, you're not often on both legs, right? So we want to simulate that in our training so that it transfers over well to our regular life. This is especially important as we age because our balance starts to falter, and single leg movements are going to improve your balance dramatically. So for our third exercise, if you're working with some dumbbells, reverse lunges or Bulgarian split squats is going to be your exercise for this one. If you're working with a barbell, we're going to be doing walking lunges. And then if you're working with minimal equipment, let's go with reverse lunges or lateral lunges. Exercise 4 is for the core. Let's get some stability training in with planks, dead bugs, or hollow rock. A great weighted option to mix things up a little bit would be the dumbbell chop, or one of my personal favorite, single arm farmer's carry, also called the suitcase carry. This is an incredible exercise that most trainers don't even include in their programs. I include it in every single one of mine. In fact, it's one of my top 6 exercises that I recommend everybody do. And I talk about that in a video right here if you want to check that out to hear a little bit more about that and the other 5 exercises that I recommend. So progressive overload, also important here. Here's how I would break it down. Week 1 and 2, let's go 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps. This is so you can learn the movement pattern. Week 3 and 4, 3 sets, 8 to 10 reps. And then week 5 and 6, 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. And week 7, once again, is our deload. So 2 sets of 10 reps for each of those exercises. Workout template C is our full body day. And this one's structured a little bit differently, so pay attention. This is one you want to use if you're short on time. You got 20 minutes and you want to get a good hard workout in, template C is your jam. Our framework here is 3 minutes of a dynamic warm-up, 4 exercises in a circuit format, 3 rounds with 12 to 15 minutes total working time, followed by a short 2-minute cool down. Remember, we want to keep this quick, so our circuit is going to be time-based, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. Try to use minimal equipment so you can be quick on those transitions. Exercise 1 is our squat variation. If you're using dumbbells, this is going to be thrusters. If you're using a barbell, this is going to be front squats or thruster with the barbell. And if you don't have any equipment, jump squats or squat pulse are going to be fantastic. Hit that for 45 seconds, rest 15, move on to exercise 2. This is going to be our pushing movement. So for dumbbells, we're going to go weighted jumping jacks or just push press. For a barbell, we're going to use push press. And then if you have no equipment, everybody's favorite, burpees. 45 seconds go, 15 seconds rest, and then we're moving to exercise 3, our pulling movement. If you're using dumbbells, I want you to do renegade rows or gorilla rows. For a barbell, barbell bent over rows. And if you're rocking the no equipment train, mountain climbers. 45 seconds hard, 15 seconds off. And for number 4, we're going for the core again. Dumbbells are going to be our weighted sit-ups. For a barbell, you get to do landmine rotations. And if you have no equipment, sit-ups are fine, or plank ups will be brutal. So hit that for 45 seconds, rest 15, and then do that all again for 2 more rounds. Trust me, you're going to feel that, but in the best way. This is HIIT, right? High intensity interval training. This is the most effective way to burn fat and build muscle at the same time. Now, I want you to keep in mind, the strategy here is not to lift the most amount of weight possible. You want to keep the weights light enough to where you can keep the intensity high. So that entire 45 seconds for all 3 rounds, you're moving with very minimal rest. And that 15 seconds is just barely enough to catch your breath before you do it all again. Now, the progression here is going to be a little different than the other 2 frameworks. And that's because we're focused on intensity, right? So when you first start this out, depending on your fitness level, it could be just completing the entire thing, right? Rest as needed to where you're not going to die, but finish the whole 3 rounds. So if that's where you're at, that's totally fine. So 1 to 2 weeks, just complete, right? Then once you get to the week 3 and 4, you should have some fitness built up, right? You've been doing this for 2 weeks now. So let's increase the intensity a little bit. See if you can get more reps in those 45 seconds than you were before. The next 2 weeks, 5 to 6, add a little complexity in there. You're a pro by now. No, I'm just kidding. I know you're not a pro, but add a little complexity in there. Maybe switch up the equipment or switch up the form on what you're doing. As long as you're being safe and efficient, that's what matters. And then week 7, we also are going to reduce the intensity on this too, right? This is an overall deload week. So I'd say drop it back maybe 30% or so that you can still get through and move through all the exercises, but the intensity is just going to be a little tuned down. Look, these work because they're chosen for maximum efficiency and effectiveness. I designed them to eliminate decision fatigue and maximize your return on your investment, your greatest investment, your time. They target different movements and energy systems, but they're all built on the same structure. So it's easy to follow and it'll just be part of your routine before you know it. Let's talk briefly about equipment modifications and scaling. If you have a full home gym setup, this is going to be no problem. You're going to have a lot of different variations that you can do. You can mix and match the barbell with dumbbells or body weight. However you want to skin this cat, cut this oyster, that's not a phrase, but however you want to do it, go forth and conquer. The sky is the limit, as they say. If you're somebody who's trying to do this all body weight, it can get a little repetitive. So here's some little tips and tricks that you can do to make it a little more variety. Add tempo. So you're going up with 2 seconds, pause 1, down with 2, or maybe you go up quickly, go down, pause 3. There's so many different options there, as well as you can make them unilateral. So instead of, double bicep curl and press or double thrusters, you can do single arm and then switch, right? That can add a little more variety to your routine. Now I want to talk to my beginners real quick. Look, if you're just starting out and you have little to no experience with this, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you for taking that first step and changing your life. You're literally changing the course of your life as well as your kids. So good on you. Here's what I recommend for you. Depending on your fitness level, make it 2 sets instead of 3. Take down the reps, take down the weight. Focus just on form at first. Whatever level you're at, that's the perfect level to start. The main thing is building this into your routine. Before you know it, you're going to be lifting more weight. You're going to be doing it with less rest, higher intensity. All those things that you want to achieve starts with consistency. So get it on your schedule. Put this as an appointment, as it's just as important as any business meeting that you might be doing with somebody else, because it's for yourself. And when you prioritize yourself, you're prioritizing your family and everyone else that's going to be around through your entire life. And lastly, my advanced folks. You can make every single one of these exercises absolutely brutal by making it HIIT style. So instead of that 60 to 90 seconds rest, you can make it 15 to 30. Instead of doing 3 sets of one, then the other, then the other, then the other, you can go 1 set, 2 set, 3 set, 4 set, and then repeat it that way for 25 minutes straight. I don't care how fit you are. If you do that with the appropriate amount of weight, you're going to get crushed. In the best way, of course. And in a similar way, whether you're advanced or not, if you're working with a smaller time commitment, let's say 10, 15 minutes, again, so proud of you for going and doing it anyways. Just cut the sets, right? Maybe make the rest a little bit shorter, use a little bit lighter weight. The main thing is that you're getting in there and you're getting it done. So I'm proud of you. Now we talked a little bit about progressive overload, but I'm going to dive in a tiny bit deeper just so you know exactly what you can do. So check this out. First is load progression. This means that you're adding weight. This could be 2.5 to 5 pounds, maybe 10 to 20 if you're working with a barbell, depending on how well you're progressing. As long as your form is good and you're being safe, you can really add as much weight as you want. The next progression is overall volume progression. This is where you add an extra set or 2 to 3 reps into each set for each of those movements. Next will be density progression. This is where you complete the same amount of work, but in less time. Now here's what these templates look like if you break them up into your week. If you can commit to 4 days of working out, I want you to go template A, first day, template B the second day, rest, template C, and then template A or B on the 4th day. For a 3-day option, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday is template A, Wednesday is template B, and then Friday is template C. And of course, you can mix and match these and switch up the days if need be to fit your schedule. So there you have it. Simple as A, B, C. I told you. Now go download the link, save it to your phone, print it out, whatever's going to be the best way for you to make sure you get it in your next workout. Now, if you're sitting there saying to yourself, this is exactly what I need, but I want a more personalized plan, then I want to tell you about our one-on-one coaching program. I'm blessed to work with a select group of high-achieving dads who are ready, willing, and able to make a change in their life. I'll provide you with a fully customized workout and nutrition plan. Plus, you get direct access to me for accountability and real-time adjustments. Look, this isn't for everyone. I only want to work with dads who really want to make this a priority. But if that does sound like you, there's a link in the description. Go ahead and click that to apply and see if you qualify. Whether you use these templates on your own or you decide you do want hands-on coaching, the most important thing is that you just start. That's the hardest part. I don't want you to wait for motivation. Oftentimes, motivation is followed by movement. So just start. Take 5 minutes, go out in the garage or drive to the gym, and if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. But I'll bet you, if you just take that first step and spend 5 minutes in the direction you want to go, the motivation will follow and it'll take you the rest of the way. Thanks so much for checking out the video. I will see you next time, my friends.